Hi, this is Jeff from the Ozark Mountains in Missouri, USA. Well, today on the bench we have this big thing, which is the TRS-80 multi-pin plotter. Now, you saw this in a Ferengi Friday I did, I don't know, a couple months ago. I picked this up at Tandy Assembly 2024, and it came complete with the user's manual, a bunch of pins, a lot of which are for transparencies rather than paper, and the cover complete with some paint splotches on it, and the pin holders, etc. Now, I believe this was built by Houston Instruments for Radio Shack TRS-80. It looks like their type of products. It uses the language they invented, the plotter language. So that's a pretty good bet, and I was able to find the service manual for it. So we should be in good shape here, I think, to try to get it going. Now, I think this project is going to be basically three main pieces. One is getting it moving, the mechanical, electrical stuff to getting it moving. The other is, will the pins that came with it work? Probably not. Can we get them working? I don't know. Maybe 3D print an adapter for some regular ink pen refills. That's a possibility. And the third part is interfacing this guy to a computer, either a computer of the time period or a more modern computer. The handshaking is a little odd on this. It doesn't use the standard control signal handshaking. It's kind of a homebrew X on X off type of thing. But we'll take these one step at a time. We'll get this mechanically and electrically functioning. There's some buttons here where we can move it around manually, so we can check it that way. And then we'll go from there. So let's get started. Thanks to PCBWay for sponsoring this video. Be sure to check out their Christmas 2024 specials up to 50% off. They have PCBs, 3D printing, injection molding service. They do CNC machining, sheet metal fabrication. They also have a thriving maker community where you can share projects and check out what other people are doing. For your next project, head on over to PCBWay. Okay, got you up overhead for this. It's kind of a big clunky thing. This was the sheet that somebody handed it that they printed out. And I think we can pull it out by pushing the load switch up. Slipping that out, putting that back down. That just flips up and down these little fingers here. Some plotters, like some of the HPs, had some sort of electrostatic deal to hold the paper down, which is pretty slick. This one is just good old mechanical force. And if you can see here, we've got the power comes into the back panel. We've got our other connections here. In the service manual, it mentions that there is a line filter here, which means there might be refizz. So we need to take a look at that first before we try to power it up. So I'm going to unplug the cord. And it doesn't look like we're going to harm anything by setting this on its top. Oh, I turned it upside down and something fell out. I think that fell out of there. I don't know what that little part is, but we'll set it to the side. Okay. There we go. And that reflective surface is going to play heck with the auto exposure. It's got some feet which have been coming off, it looks like. And looks like to get into the electronics, we need to take these two little screws out. It shows in the service manual that all these covers, the 5 sides minus the top, do come off, it looks like, quite easily. So it was designed to be serviced. I need my old band glasses. be a set screw there and there. Okay, well, a small flat blade screwdriver jammed down in there. Backed them off anyhow. There's some type of little star. It's like a super ultra mini Torx. That's kind of a weird thing for the early 1980s. And we've got that cover off. It's got some type of cardboard or hardboard pad in there, maybe for sound deadening. And we've got our circuit board. And what do we have here? We're finding all kinds of things today. That is some type of little plastic stopper. Maybe something from a pin. Okay. Huh, looks like the board's slightly cattywampus. Yeah, I can see the line filter right there. I don't know if we want to try to take the board loose. It looks like this piece might tilt back. Well, that is not coming loose very nicely. What about... Oh, there's a nut under there that's spinning. Okay, so what if... knocking stuff all around here. Okay, I found this little stubby one in my indoor stash. But it feels like there also might be a nut below that. Oh, this has some, you can't quite see if there's some wires right there. I think they're going to, I don't know what that's going to. I've seen a few things of this era where all the covers were interlocking and you had to take everything, all the covers off to get to anything. Oh, you know what? This is the back panel, which has those switches on there. Yeah, the switches are on the other side of this, and that's what these wires go to. They are soldered to a ribbon cable connector, it looks like. Yeah, okay. So now we can see in there, and there are nuts on the bottom side of that. But it looks like there's a flathead screw here, which also goes into a nut. And it looks like maybe this whole board is designed to tip back. Well, that nut is captured on the bracket. But why did this one not seem to be? I don't know. It is. So I guess I didn't have to take all those side panels off anyhow. Yeah, and they made that just to lift up like that. And we have a couple big stepper motors, a transformer, a circuit board. And we can see the line filter just there. Okay, I tilted it up on the back side. And that seemed to work. We do have a power entry module, an integrated line filter, which I'll need to pull out of there and find a replacement for before we try to fire this up. What else do we have here? This is the wires going to the buttons on the back, which go to that connector I mentioned before right there. These two big old stepper motors, which go to connectors here and here. Wires for the solenoid and some type of switch maybe. Go around this deal and around here and up to here. That's rather interesting. Got some wires here which follow a similar route. They're on the same connector. And let's see. Well, this is the one that's holding us up the most. So I'm going to take some pictures of how all these wires are routed, mark a few connectors, and then we'll see if we can rotate this the rest of the way down to gain access or better access to that line filter. So I took some pictures of how all the plugs were arranged. Got it tilted down. We should be in good shape now to go ahead and take this power entry module off of here. Yeah, that does have a line filter built into it. Don't know if I have one of those on hand. Okay, there's that guy. It's a Corcom, made in Libertyville, Illinois, USA. GEF2. Okay, let me try to locate one of these. Ack! There's a circuit board there. Okay, we pulled out the power entry module with line filter. I did not have one of these, so temporarily I substituted just a power entry block, wired it up so we can safely power this thing. I checked the capacitors. All the little ones are okay. There's a couple big fat tantalums here. They are not shorted. This one in the can here, that is a bulk smoothing capacitor right past the rectifier diodes. It's supposed to be 8,500 microfarads. But it's coming up as 11 microfarads. Now, although the ESR is really, really low. So that's obviously not going to do the trick. And I don't have that exact type of capacitor. This is 8,500 microfarads at 25 volts. What I do have is this monstrosity right here, which is three 2200 microfarad 16 volt caps. So it's not great that they're only 16 volts. This is good enough to work temporarily so we can try things out, make sure everything moves. I did find a line filter that will work. The terminals come out of the end of it instead of the top, but there should be enough room in here for that, and it takes the same size opening. So what I'm going to do now is take out this cap here, pop in this monstrosity, and we'll button it back up and see if we can't get this to move. Alrighty, so we've got this all put back together. Put a zip tie around this capacitor atrocity over here. Got all the wires connected back where they go under this little dealy bob. In the service manual it said not to lubricate the sliding surfaces, just wipe them off, so that's what I did. This has some fancy plastic bushings in there, so if you add lubrication you're just going to cause problems. And I went ahead and put this side back on, and so we can close this up now, make sure everything fits. We've got a little wire chafage here. Yep, well, they actually did a nice job with the wire routing inside this. Okay, so I'll get the board fastened back in here and see if we can't somehow rig up the bottom cover. I guess we don't need to, it can set on these sides, and at least we can plug it in and see if it works. Okay, the moment of truth. So we've got the board connected back there. I've got a power cord connected to it. All the wiring looks okay. And the power switch is a little toggle switch. It's in the back here right beside the power cord. Not exactly convenient. So if we turn it on, okay, it's doing something. Sounds like the stepper motors are locked into place. So what happens if we go? Nothing. Manual, nothing. Oh, look. Woohoo. Well, how about that? So I already wiped down these rails except for where the thing was presently at. Okay. Pin down, pin up. Wow. Yeah, now it's in remote mode, so the manual buttons here don't work. We put it in manual mode and they should work again. Yep. How about that? So it looks like mechanically it works. We didn't get any magic smoke. So now we're down to figuring out pins and communication. So I may go ahead and put the rest of the panels on this thing, just to keep anything from falling into it till we figure out the rest. Well, we got our TRS-80 multi-pin plotter moving. We know what parts we need to get internally. We need to replace that line filter, and we need a proper capacitor in there, not that ugly thing I came up with. I cleaned it all up. I even managed to get, you remember how much paint was on the cover? I got most of that off of there. And even stuck the feet back on there with some of this 3M double-sided tape. That stuff works really good for jobs like that. Coming up next, we'll figure out what to do about the pins, see if we can get some of these originals rejuvenated, or maybe 3D print a holder to use some, modern pin inserts, refills. And then we need to figure out how to hook it up to a computer. And here I've got a question for you. What would be more fun, hooking this up to like a TRS-80 Model 4P, a TRS-80 PC2 Pocket computer, or a modern computer? Let me know in the comments section down below. So when I get the parts here for this in a few weeks, we'll have another episode and we'll finish this up and do some plotting. Any questions or comments, leave in the comments section down below. Thanks to everyone who helped support the Hey Birt channel. It's greatly appreciated. And until next time, bye.